Alright, gang, welcome. Yeah, gang, that's right, it's Treasure Tuesday, and Reiser is indeed alive. And yeah, this is no animatronics you're seeing. This is actual flesh, and an abundance of it. Alright, gang, welcome. And there's Ambient Girl Relic Hunter. Hi, AWR, American Woolens Relics. Hi, Miss Linda Wallace. Hi, North Jersey Detector. Hi. And Ghost Talk with the Right. She follows me everywhere. Holy cow, I stalk her. And got lurkers and we got stalkers. She's a stalker. Hey, there's Mrs. Hughes. Hi. Tim Holmes. Bacon. Hi. Hoosier Hillbilly. Hello. SJ. Hi. And Ken Peavy. Ken Peavy. Word on the street says Charlie went to the doctor complaining about being sick, but the doctor made a mistake, and now we gotta call him Charlene. Well, it does have a nice ring to it. Hi, KP, how are you? And I tell you what, welcome one and all. Hey, there's Miss Linda. Hi, Miss Linda. And I tell you what, welcome to game night. Oh, yeah. And tonight we have a game for you tonight called Who's That? And but anyway, stay tuned for that. It'll be coming up. And again, welcome one and all. Hey, there's B3. Hi, B3. And I think I saw Lou. Hey, there's Lincoln Central Coins. And I tell you what, welcome one and all to Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium's live stream. And I see Lou. There's Lou. Hi, Lou, if you're still around. And but anyway, gang, we've got a show for you tonight. Hey, there's Miss Paula. Hi, Miss Paula. And but anyway, gang, Treasure Hunting SWPA. Hey, how are you? And I tell you what, I was actually thinking about your area the other day, and came across another treasure story involving an outlining area of Pittsburgh, believe it or not. Now, I've just forwarded that to you. But anyway, gang, that's right. Welcome to Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium's live stream. Game night. That's right, game night. And exactly where can you have this much fun with history and with giveaways to boot? Anyway, gang, tonight we will be looking at old photographs. That's right, pictures. And for a gay night segment called Who's That? And otherwise entitled Not Your Mama. But anyway, gang, I tell you what, how to play Who's That? Well, guess the famous or notable person that pops up onto the screen, and whoever guesses correctly in chat that appears first on my screen wins a nominal prize. That's right, nominal. And after all, a nominal prize is still far better than getting bills in your mailbox any day of the week. And I tell you what, gang, now only one winner per episode, but that doesn't mean that you can't play. Because after all, you can still help out your fellow treasure hunter by putting the correct answer, or if you're not a treasure, put the wrong answer, into the chat. Now, anyway, gang, now if you do win, why, you must send me your address at least 1 hour after, by 1 hour, after the streams end of the broadcast. And as Liz would say, we will not chase you down. And I tell you what, it should be a good amount of fun. Now, finally, that's right, finally, the most important rule. That's right, the most important rule is to do this one thing, and that is have fun. That's right, gang. This is Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium's live stream, after all, where good-natured goofing off is not only permitted, but actually encouraged. That's right. All right, gang. Well, here we go. Let's get on with it. Now, okay, one quick thing. This is what we got. This is tonight's format because we must have structure. No, anyway, we're going to do five. We're going to do five. What do you want to call it? 5 photographs. There may be slightly more. We're going to take a slight little break. We've got a couple of announcements. Then we'll do 5 more, and then that'll pretty much be the show. And but anyway, gang, so here we go. All right, here we go. Number 1. Is my lovely assistant ready? That was you. That was you. Yes. I don't know who's yours is that lovely. Of course, I may be Charlene now. Anyway, so. All right. Hey, there's Riv. Hi, Riv. How was dinner in Canada? Anyway. All right, gang, here we go. I think it'd be better if I had my actual real-life notes here. Now, okay, real quick, for you guys who have been following along with Game Night and have been watching how the ghosty spirit, if you believe that sort of thing, well, they have been playing amuck with my notes when I was trying to do Game Night. What? Probably for the past 3 or past 2? All right, well, I actually numbered them to see if they would actually, whatever happened. Now, as an hour prior to the start of the stream, they were all there. So now, if anything goes missing, then, Sandy will have to break out her ghost box and, Anyway, gang, all right, here we go. I tell you what, this one's almost a softball. I tell you, so get ready to type, because here we go. This one's going to be a rather easy one. And here you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here you go. Who's that? And I tell you what, gang. Easy guy to recognize.
No, it's not me, Rev.
Colonel Sanders. All right, that's right. Colonel Harland David Sanders. That's right. He was born September the 9th, 1890, and died December the 16th, 1980. Now, he was an American businessman, best known for founding fast food chicken restaurant chain Kentucky Fried Chicken, and also known as KFC. And, of course, as we drive by them, we make up different substitutions for what KFC stands for. But anyway, and later acting as the company's brand ambassador and symbol. His name and image are still symbols of the company. The title Colonel was honorary. I believe it was the governor of Kentucky who actually bestowed that upon him. And the Kentucky Colonel, not a military rank. Now, Sanders held a number of jobs in his early life, such as steam engine stoker, insurance salesman, and filling station operator. He began selling fried chicken from his roadside restaurant in North Corbin, Kentucky during the Great Depression. During that time, Sanders developed his secret recipe and his patented method of cooking chicken in a pressure fryer. I wonder if we should develop a secret recipe. What exactly would our secret recipe be? I don't know. But anyway, Sanders recognized the potential of the restaurant franchising concept, and the first KFC franchise opened in South Salt Lake, Utah in 1952. When his original restaurant closed, he devoted himself full-time to franchising his fried chicken throughout the country. The company's rapid expansion across the United States and overseas became overwhelming for Sanders. In 1964, then 73 years old, he sold the company to a group of investors led by John Y. Brown and Jack C. Massey for $2 million. And it's kind of equivalent to $16.2 million today. However, he retained control of operations in Canada, and he became a salaried brand ambassador for Kentucky Fried Chicken. In his later years, he became highly critical of the food served by KFC restaurants, as he believed they had cut costs and allowed quality to deteriorate. I'm hungry for chicken now. All right. Well, anyway, gang, there you have it. Colonel Sanders. And I tell you what, who can't recognize that guy? I tell you. Anyway, gang, all right, now for tonight, we do have some photographs that are meant to trick you out. And that may be at different stages of people's lives, maybe the young photo, and then we'll show the old photo. And but anyway, we've got one of those just coming up right now. Just meant to kind of trick you, just kind of see if you can recognize who it is, and then if nobody gets it, we'll move on to the second photograph, which I'm sure everybody will get. But here you go. Here's picture number 2. That guy. Who is that guy? Or otherwise, who's that? I tell you, there's some clues inside this photograph. You have a young man with a weird-looking hat, and he's holding up near where his belt buckle would be. That's not a belt buckle. That's actually a print set. And he's actually holding up a little print set with actually the first 3 letters of his name, Sam. And tell you what, hon, we'll give this a couple more seconds, and then we'll put up the picture that I'm sure everybody's going to recognize. Rivendell got it? That he did. I'm like a couple of seconds behind here in chat. Here he is, that guy. That's right. Mark Twain, Samuel Longhorn Clemens, born November the 30th, 1835, died April the 21st, 1910, known by his pen name Mark Twain, was an American writer, humorist, entrepreneur, not a very good one at that, publisher and lecturer, and entrepreneur. I tell you what, he invested so much money into a print type setting machine that just, oh boy, it just milked him dry. But anyway, he was lauded as the greatest humorist this country has produced, and William Faulkner called him the father of American literature. His novels include The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and its sequel, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the latter often called the Great American Novel. Twain was raised in Hannibal, Missouri, which later provided the setting for Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. He served an apprenticeship with a printer and then worked as a typesetter, contributing articles to the newspaper of his older brother Orion Clemens's paper. He later became a riverboat pilot on the Mississippi River before heading west to join Orion in Nevada. He referred humorously to his lack of success at mining, turning to journalism for the Virginia City Territorial Enterprise. His humorous story, The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, was published in 1865 based on a story that he heard at Angels Hotel in Angels Camp, California, where he had spent some time as a miner. The short story brought international attention and was even translated into French. His wit and satire in prose and in speech earned praise from critics and peers, and he was a friend to presidents, artists, industrialists, and European royalty. Twain earned a great deal of money from his writings and lectures, but he invested in ventures that lost most of it, such as the Page Compositor, a mechanical typesetter that failed because of its complexity and imprecision. He filed for bankruptcy in the wake of these financial setbacks, but he eventually overcame his financial troubles with the help of Henry Huddleston Rogers. He eventually paid all his creditors in full, even though his bankruptcy relieved him of uh, having to do so. Basically, he didn't have to actually officially declare bankruptcy. But Twain was born shortly after an appearance of Halley's Comet, and he predicted that he would go out with it as well. And he did die. He actually died. He died the day after the comet returned. There you have it. Oh boy, Mark Twain. Great, great stuff. Now, okay, well, I wasn't about to yet. Now, my favorite novel by Mark Twain is not Adventures of Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn. It's actually a book that he wrote called Roughing It, about his travels westward. Anyway, he said, do not go on to the next picture.
Rick said he wanted to pass his prize on
Mm-hmm.
to the next person. The next person that put his name in right, one way or the other, was Miss Hoogie.
Was Mrs. Hoogie?
Yeah, I'm just making sure that, Rick wants to pass it to Miss Hoogie.
Okay, well, congrats, Mrs. Hoogie. But anyway, all right. Hey, there's Yeoman. Hi, Yeoman. And welcome to anybody else who may have popped in. Hey, there's Weasel. Hey, Weasel, how are you? And hey, there's Mike Mallyman24. Hi, Mike. And but anyway, gang, welcome to anybody who happened to be popping in like Hoogie and Mrs. Hoogie. And welcome to game night. All right, here we go. Let me say question. Picture number 3. And this is, again, another photograph. You're going to see the young guy first. And if nobody gets it, we're going to move on to the old guy. And here we go. Here is the young guy. Who's that? Oh, I tell you, this was a tricky one. Even for me, I was trying to put myself outside of the box. And I tell you what, I had the trouble of actually identifying this guy, and then, oh boy.
Alright, NJD got it with Abe.
Abe? Are we going to take Abe, or do we need the whole?
NJD put Abe, Will Hornbuckle put Abe Lincoln. Your choice, Abe.
Oh my goodness. Well, what do you think? Is there another Abe? What other Abe can we have in history?
I'm going to say NJD got it first.
There you go. Congrats. That's right. Abraham Lincoln. February the 12th, he was born, 1809. Hey, what happened in 1909 with Abe Lincoln? Allie knows. And died April the 15th, 1865. Was an American statesman and a lawyer who served as the 16th President of the United States from 1861 until his assassination in April of 1865. Lincoln led the nation through the American Civil War, its bloodiest war and its greatest moral, constitutional, and political crisis. He preserved the Union, abolished slavery, strengthened the federal government, and modernized the United States economy. Born in Kentucky, Lincoln grew up on the frontier in a poor family. Self-educated, he became a lawyer, Whig Party leader, Illinois state legislator, and congressman. In 1849, he left government to resume his law practice, but angered by the success of Democrats in opening the prairie lands to slavery, re-entered politics in 1854. He became a leader in the new Republican Party and gained national attention in 1858 for debating National Democratic leader Stephen A. Douglas. He then ran for president in 1860, sweeping the North and winning. Southern pro-slavery elements took his win as proof that the North was rejecting the constitutional rights of Southern states to practice slavery. They began the process of seceding from the Union. To secure its independence, the new Confederate States of America fired on Fort Sumter, one of the few U.S. forts in the South. Lincoln called up volunteers and militia to suppress the rebellion and restore the Union. As the leader of the moderate faction of the Republican Party, Lincoln confronted radical Republicans who demanded harsher treatment of the South. War Democrats, who rallied a large faction of former opponents into his camp, anti-war Democrats called Copperheads, who despised him, and irreconcilable secessionists who plotted his assassination. Lincoln fought the factions by pitting them against each other, by carefully distributing political patronage, and by appealing to the American people. His Gettysburg Address became an iconic call for nationalism, republicanism, equal rights, liberty, and democracy. All of that in what, 12 sentences? He suspended habeas corpus, and he averted British intervention by defusing the Trent affair. Lincoln closely supervised the war effort, including the selection of generals and the naval blockade that shut down the Southern trade. As the war progressed, he maneuvered to end slavery, issuing the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, ordering the Army to protect escaped slaves, encouraging border states to outlaw slavery, and pushing through Congress the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which outlawed slavery. Lincoln managed his own re-election campaign while he sought to reconcile his damaged nation by avoiding retribution against the secessionists. A few days after the Battle of Appomattox Courthouse, he was shot by John Wilkes Booth, an actor and Confederate sympathizer, on April the 14th, 1865, and died the following day. Abraham Lincoln is remembered as the United States martyr hero. He is consistently ranked both by scholars and the public as among the greatest United States presidents. And a little bit later on in the show, boy, have we got a toughie for you. We're actually going to have another president, and but that one is going to be tough. We're even going to show you a photograph of that guy while he was president. But great, great stuff about Lincoln. People try to steal his body, and all kinds of craziness with that. I'm trying to remember what the book was called. Excellent book about it was called Stealing Lincoln's Body. Ever have a chance? Great, great book. Yeah, I tell you what, he was worse than my mother's rose bushes when I was growing up. She kept transplanting them all over the place. But anyway, gang, all right. Oh, boy. There weren't too many handsome men back then. No, Liz, and they look worse now. Yeah, anyway. But did I say hi to Liz? Hi! There we go. Okay. All right, gang. On with picture number 4 for Who's That? Well, here we go. And see if you can recognize this guy. Ready? Here we go. Who's that? And we'll give you a little bit of a hint. No, and that looks like a hint all by itself, but that's wrong, Ken. Wrong. And Hey, Oprah, congrats. That's right. That there is Henry Ford. He was born July the 30th, 1863. Huh?
I'm making sure I'm right.
Okay.
Yeah, you forget her got first.
All right, yep. And died April the 7th, 1947. Was an American industrialist and a business magnate. And the founder of the Ford Motor Company and the sponsor of the development of the assembly line technique of mass production. Although Ford did not invent the automobile or the assembly line, he developed and manufactured the first automobile that many middle-class Americans could afford. In doing so, Ford converted the automobile from an expensive curiosity into a practical conveyance that would profoundly impact the landscape of the 20th century. His introduction of the Model T automobile revolutionized transportation and American industry. As the owner of the Ford Motor Company, he became one of the richest and best known people in the world. He is credited with Fordism. Basically, Fordism is mass production of inexpensive goods coupled with high wages for workers. Ford had a global vision with consumerism as the key to peace. His intense commitment to systematically lowering costs resulted in many technical and business innovations, including a franchise system that put dealerships throughout most of North America and in major cities on 6 continents. Dealerships. Oh my good dealer cars. I can't believe I'm doing Henry Ford after all I've been through. Anyway, Ford left most of his vast wealth to the Ford Foundation and arranged for his family to control the company permanently. And I tell you what, I tell you what, buying the car was never ever the same, and again, isn't the same today. I tell you what, if you guys, here's one word of advice. Now, the Reisers just finished arranging. I haven't actually picked it up yet. We purchased the car. And I tell you what, if you ever want to find out how much the internet tracks you, why, just go to TrueCar.com. I had no interest whatsoever with TrueCar.com except for checking on perhaps invoice prices. And of course, they ask you for your information. And oh my goodness, I tell you what, oh boy, I was released to the cannibals. Holy cow! Everybody and their mother started calling me, emailing me, and oh my goodness, I tell you what. Holy cow! And you don't even have to do that. All I got to do is search the internet for a car, and you're going to get advertisements on Facebook and everywhere else, and people will be coming out of the woodwork. But anyway, there you have it, Henry Ford. Oh, after all that tirade, I forgot even who won now. Who was it? Newport? All right, congrats, Newport. All right, gang. Well, for this next one, and for this next one, we actually have a young and, well, actually, it's not a young and old picture. It's a picture that you may not recognize, and then a picture that you would obviously recognize. And here you go. You ready? You ready? You ready? You know the name of this game. The name of this game is Who's That? Oh, yeah. And who is that guy? Oh, wait. Yeoman Goal! There you have it. That's right. That there is Charlie Chaplin. That's right. Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin, born April the 16th. Didn't we just have somebody else born April the 16th? No, that was the 15th. Abraham Lincoln was on the 15th. Yep, he was born April the 16th, 1889, and died December the 25th, 1977. He was an English comic actor, filmmaker, and composer who rose to fame in the era of silent film. He became a worldwide icon through his screen persona, the Tramp, and is considered one of the most important figures in the history of the film industry. His career spanned more than 75 years, from childhood in the Victorian era until a year before his death in 1977, and encompassed both adulation and controversy. Chaplin's childhood in London was one of poverty and hardship, as his father was absent and his mother struggled financially, and he was sent to a workhouse twice before the age of 9. When he was 14, his mother was committed to a mental asylum. Chaplin began performing at an early age, touring music halls, and later working as a stage actor and comedian. At 19, he was signed to the prestigious Fred Carnot Company, which took him to America. He was scouted for the film industry and began appearing in 1914 for Keystone Studios, the Keystone Cops. He soon developed the tramp persona and formed a large fan base. He directed his own films and continued to hone his craft as he moved to the S&A Mutual and First National corporations. By 1918, he was one of the best-known figures in the world. In 1919, Chaplin co-founded the distribution company United Artists, which gave him complete control over his films. His first feature-length film was The Kid in 1921, followed by A Woman of Paris in 1923, The Gold Rush in 1925, The Circus in 1928, and he refused to move to sound films in the 1930s, instead producing City Lights in 1931 and Modern Times in 1936 without dialogue. He became increasingly political, and his next film, The Great Dictator in 1940, satirized Adolf Hitler. In the 1940s, basically the 40s was a decade marked with controversy for Chaplin, and his popularity declined rapidly. He was accused of communist sympathies while he created scandal through his involvement in a fraternity suit and his marriages to it only says much younger women. We will say much, much, much younger women. An FBI investigation was opened, and Chaplin was forced to leave the United States and settle in Switzerland. He abandoned the tramp in his later films, which include Monsieur Verdot in 1947, Limelight in 1952, A King in New York in 1957, and A Countess from Hong Kong in 1967. Chaplin wrote, directed, produced, edited, starred in, and composed the music for most of his films. He was a perfectionist, and his financial independence enabled him to spend years on the development and production of a picture. His films are characterized by slapstick combined with pathos, typified in the tramp's struggles against adversity. Many contain social and political themes, as well as autobiographical elements. He received an honorary Academy Award for the incalculable effect he has had in making motion pictures the art form of this century in 1972. Holy mackerel, that was a sentence and a half. I don't know who was expecting me to read that in all one breath. But anyway, there you have it. Oh boy, I tell you what. Down here, it does list some of his best work, including The Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times. Modern Times is probably my favorite of his, and The Great Dictator. And there you have it, Charlie Chaplin. And hey, that was number 5. This means we have a break coming in. And again, hey, for you folks who are coming in, welcome to Game Night. And tonight's Game Night is a segment we're calling Who's That? And anyway, so stay tuned. There's 5 more photographs coming up. But in the meantime, we have some announcements. Now, of course, most of you guys know I was rather ill. So we have a weekend recap from 2 weeks ago. And that's actually going to be upcoming on the next episode. We're going to have our usual show. And we're actually going to take a look at some of the stuff that you've been looking at underneath the coin cam. You can't really tell too well because I have yet to clean it where I got sick. That was actually the first day I think I got sick. Was the day I dug this. But we actually have a Civil War eagle with a shield button. That's not clean. And I'm not going to show you what's underneath of it. I'll only show you the date of it, but I'm highly excited about that. And that not last Sunday, the Sunday before when I dug it. Oh my goodness, I was ecstatic. But however, being starting to become ill, why that's as far as it got. Never got cleaned. But you'll see more of that. And hear the tale this next upcoming Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium's live stream. There's actually going to be a video of it too. But anyway, gang, first and foremost, I want to thank Coins for Amateurs, CFA, for filling my time slot for the coin seminar weekend. due to my illness. Why, thank you, Chad. And I tell you what, I did manage to succumb to the dreaded southern New Jersey malaria. That's right. There was rumors I got bitten by a rabid badger, but that's untrue. And but anyway, now I tell you what, my lovely assistant Sandy is now experiencing it, but I think she's skating it. She's a trooper, and yeah, she's not getting it as bad, but oh boy. And anyway, gang, but so well wishes to her and orange juice galore. But anyway, it could be berry too. But anyway, speaking of the coin seminar weekend, and I tell you what, and Ken Peavy, congrats to KD Scrapper who won this past Sunday night's The Big Show. I tell you what, very nice pack indeed. And but I tell you what, The Big Show, always a good time. Now, secondly, we have some pictures here, and secondly, this guy and this thing. Now, unfortunately, I popped this second picture up here. I kind of combined it with a commercial because for whatever reason, I could not find Hoosier Hillbillies clip like I have here of Yorkshire, or otherwise known. Well, this is actually metal detecting Yorkshire, and but anyway, yeah. So I couldn't find this for Hoosier Hillbilly, so I wound up with this.
Ma'am, do you guys carry Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium travel packs of toilet paper?
What is it, sir?
It's a Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium travel packs of toilet paper.
We're happy to ask him because he knows all, and I
Okay.
know nothing. I was like, he literally has the answer for everything.
I'm just looking for, they make us Reiser's Treasure Hunting Emporium travel packs of toilet paper. You know if you guys carry those?
I don't think so. I think all that I have are like the ones for campers over here.
Yeah, I think that's usually what section it's in, but
Let's go look.
I was trying to look online. I didn't see it online, but come on, kiddo.
But anyway, gang, that's right, Hoosier Hillbilly in metal detecting Yorkshire, but now known as B&M Outdoors. Well, anyway, gang, this is it. This is what we got. Make-A-Wish Foundation Charity Poker Tournament. That's right. Now, see Brad's, a.k.a. Hoosier Hillbilly's, live stream of 8/11. That's right, August 11th for details. Or you can email him for details. Why, he'll send you out the little form email. And I tell you what, now B&M Outdoor Pursuits initiated the community-wide sponsored challenges to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation charity, and everyone is doing their part, and it's wonderful to see the community pull together. And yes, let me tell you, it is indeed wonderful when we, that's right, all of us can pull together as a community to do some good for those less fortunate. And real quick, Make-A-Wish Foundation, if you search on Facebook right now, they just recently had the foundation in New Jersey have a youngster meet an actor. Oh my goodness, his name just escaped me. The fellow that was in The Matrix. They had the little girl meet him. Reeves. Keanu Reeves, that's right. I guess he's filming Bill and Ted's Next Adventure or whatever, but yeah, that's... yeah, and they got the youngster to meet him, and it was actually quite nice. We can actually search that. But anyway, that's right, gang. We as a group can make a difference. Now, with the Make-A-Wish Foundation Charity Poker Tournament, we will be raising additional funds for the cause, and I believe the charity poker tournament will be on Friday, August the 30th. And I will be playing. Of course, that's probably news to my missus now. And it's for a good cause. Even if I can't play, because I believe we were supposed to. Yes, I tell you. And I think we start a brief vacation, I think, the following day. But either way, I'm sending in my my entry to the Make-A-Wish Foundation Charity Poker Tournament, and more than likely I will be there. And a slew of others from the metal detecting and coin community are going to be playing as well, and anyone is welcome to join in. And I tell you what, gang, there's also prizes. That's right. Not like we even need them, but there is prizes. And but I tell you what, like I say, check out Hoosier Hillbillies live stream of 8/11 for more information. Great fun for a great cause. Don't miss it. Oh boy. And I tell you what, gang. Now, gang, if any of you, that's right, if if any of you happen to have a special event, video, or giveaway coming up or going on, why, do please throw it down into the chat and give everyone a look at it. And I tell you. But I'll try and catch up a little bit with chat. Let's see. Mike says, friendliest person in Hollywood. It has to be talking about piano. And not to be confused with piano. And hey, there's Michael Kittle. How are you, Mike? And I tell you. Even Hoosier's nostrils are handsome. I never knew that was... I'm jealous. Why not? Mine not? No, okay.
No, your nostrils are not handsome.
No? Oh, okay. Well, you never hear anybody going down the street. Will you get a load of the nostrils on? No. Yeah, wow. Will you get a load of the nostrils? No, I don't think I've ever heard that. Well, except for Hoogie. But anyway. Hey, there's Jersey History Hunters, Dirt Diggers UK, hi. And welcome to game night. And hold on to your hat because we are now resuming. That's right, we are going back to it. And what comes after 5? We'll try 6. And here we go. We'll grab our notes here and get ready for your keyboard because we are about to start. Here we go. Ready or not? See if you recognize this guy. Who's that? Hey, all right. And who did you say got it?
Wait a minute. Kickstart Flames and Comics.
I don't even see them.
It's new. I've never seen them.
Kickstar Coins and Comics. There you are. Hi, and welcome. And that there is Louis Daniel Armstrong, born August the 4th, 1901. Died July the 6th, 1971. Nicknamed Satchmo, Satch, or Pops, was an American trumpeter, composer, vocalist, and occasional actor who was one of the most influential figures in jazz. His career spanned 5 decades, from the 1920s to the 1960s, and different eras in the history of jazz. In 2017, he was inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame. Armstrong was born and raised in New Orleans, coming to prominence in the 1920s as an inventive trumpet and cornet player. Armstrong was a foundational influence in jazz, shifting the focus of the music from collective improvisation to solo performance. Around 1922, he followed his mentor, Joe King Oliver, to Chicago to play in the Creole Jazz Band. In the Windy City, he networked with other popular jazz musicians, reconnecting with his friend Bix Benedicti, and made new contacts, which included Hoagie Carmichael, Lil Hardin, and a couple of others. He earned a reputation at cutting contests and relocated to New York in order to join Fletcher Henderson's band. With his instantly recognizable, rich, gravelly voice, Armstrong was also an influential singer, demonstrating great dexterity as an improviser, bending the lyrics and melody of a song for expressive purposes. He was also very skilled at scat singing, not cat singing, scat singing. Armstrong is renowned for his charismatic stage presence and voice almost as much as for his trumpet playing. Armstrong's influence extends well beyond jazz, and by the end of his career in the 1960s, he was widely regarded as a profound influence on popular music in general. Armstrong was one of the first truly popular African American entertainers to cross over. That is, whose skin color became secondary to his music in an America that was extremely racially divided at the time. He rarely publicly politicized his race, often to the dismay of fellow African Americans, but took a well-publicized stand for desegregation in the Little Rock crisis. His artistry and personality allowed him to access the upper echelons of American society, then highly restricted for black men. And there you have it, Louis Satchmo Armstrong. And I tell you what, he's probably my top 10 favorite of, is that Herb Albert? No, that's not Herb. Oh my goodness. But anyway, gang, there you have it, Louis Armstrong. All right, gang. Well, now I tell you what, we have got a toughie for you for this next one, and we'll see if you guys can guess it. You ready or not? Here it comes. All right, gang, you know it. You probably can guess it. Who's that? That's right. Who is that? And person from history. We'll give you a clue. He was a politician. Words associated with him would be witch hunt.
All metal Mike is close.
All metal Mike.
Whole name.
You want the whole name for this one?
Or at least the first name.
His first name? Now he's probably going to crack. What is his first name? Oh. Boss lady wants a first name. Can you do it? Hitchcock. No, that's not Hitchcock. Oh.
Ozzy said M.D. Meltzer.
Hi, Oz.
Okay, close enough with Michael Kill Rare Coins. He put Joe McCarthy.
Joe McCarthy. Is that what we're taking?
We're going to take it.
All right. Well, the moderator has spoken. And that, and if I want to sleep, that, and if I wanted to sleep in my bed tonight, I guess I have to agree. But anyway, that's right, Joseph McCarthy, Senator Joseph McCarthy. He was born November the 14th, 1908, and died May the 2nd, 1957. He was an American politician who served as a Republican U.S. Senator from the state of Wisconsin from 1947 until his death in 1957. Beginning in 1950, McCarthy became the most visible public face of a period in the United States in which Cold War tensions fueled fears of widespread communist subversion. He is known for alleging that numerous communist and Soviet spies and sympathizers had infiltrated the United States federal government, universities, film industry, and elsewhere. Ultimately, the smear tactics that he used led him to be censored by the U.S. Senate. The term McCarthyism, coined in 1950 in reference to McCarthy's practices, was soon applied to similar anti-communist activities. Today, the term is used more broadly to mean demagogic, reckless, and unsubstantiated accusations, as well as public attacks on the character or patriotism of a political opponent. And pretty much the rest of this we're going to let go because I'm seeing that we are short for time. But real quick, if you ever have a chance, now it might be kind of dry, there's actually a movie about Edward R. Murrow and McCarthy's interactions with one another, called Murrow. And I think it's a very well done, overlooked movie for the time period. And I'm not going to remember the director's name. He's an actor that everyone goes gaga over, and I can't think of his name. Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name. But anyway, the movie's called Murrow. Do check it out. But anyway, the highly publicized Army-McCarthy hearings of 1954 and following the suicide of Wyoming Senator Lester C. Hunt that same year, McCarthy's support and popularity faded. On December the 2nd, 1954, the Senate voted to censure Senator McCarthy by a vote of 67 to 22, making him one of the few senators ever to be disciplined in this fashion. He continued to speak against communism and socialism until his death at the age of 48 at the Bethesda Naval Hospital, and on May the 2nd, 1957. Now, his death certificate listed the cause of his death as hepatitis, acute, cause unknown. And but anyway, there you have it. Senator Joseph McCarthy. Rather dark period of history right there. Imagine him in a floral pit. Hey, Justin, how are you? But anyway, gang, all right, here we go for picture number 8. And you know it, so watch your ears because you know it's coming. Who's that? Oh, that's right, gang. Who is that guy? Hey, Madding, how are you? Hi, Silver Finder. Will and Hike with Mike, you guys are on the right track, but not quite there. Pretty Boy Floyd, not you guys are close. Bugsy Malone, no, Jack, no, not Jack Ruby, and Steve, no, and let's see. Is it time for a hint?
I'm going to say yeah, because they're not
Oh,
on the right
right.
track, some of them are.
Let's see.
They're not getting it.
New York mobster. New York mobster. There's a famous treasure story associated with this guy. Supposedly he buried a bunch of loot up in the Catskills. And let's see. He was shot down in a restaurant. And coincidentally,
Rivendell got it.
well, Rivendell's got it. Oh, somebody else typing in the chat. Oh, wait a minute. Do we already count him as winning?
So Riv can win again.
So are we calling Riv the winner, right?
Riv is the
All right, there you go. Rivendell coins. That is Dutch Schultz. Now, Dutch Schultz, born. Now, wonder why he changed his name. You ready for this? Dutch Schultz, born Arthur Simon Flugenheimer. That's right. His real last name was Flugenheimer. I changed my name to Dutch Schultz too. But anyway, born August the 6th, 1901, died October the 24th, 1935, was a New York City area German, Jewish, American mobster of the 1920s and 30s who made his fortune in organized crime-related activities, including bootlegging and the numbers racket. Weakened by 2 tax evasion trials led by prosecutor Thomas Dewey. And if you guys happen to know, you guys know who Thomas Dewey is. There's that famous newspaper headline that's held up that says Dewey wins. Unfortunately, they printed it a little too soon because Dewey did not win. I believe that was a race for a presidency with Truman, if I remember my history. Anyway, Schultz's rackets were also threatened by a fellow mobster, Lucky Luciano. In an attempt to avert his conviction, Schultz asked the commission for permission to kill Dewey, which they refused. When Schultz disobeyed them and made an attempt to kill Dewey, the commission ordered his murder in 1935 at the something something Palace Chop House, or was that called just the Palace Chop House? But there you have it, Dutch Schultz. Now, this guy, at the time of his death, he was 34 years old. And for those folks who say crime doesn't pay, why, his net worth in 1935 was $7 million. That's, by the way, that's 1935 money, not upgraded to what that is today. In 1935, this guy's net worth was $7 million. Who says crime doesn't pay? Holy cow. Anyway, wonderful treasure story associated with him. Many people say it's already been found. But yeah, supposedly he has a treasure box buried in the Catskills. If you want specifics, it's somewhere near Phoenicia, New York, which is, I believe, along Route 23. And yeah, I've never looked at it. But anyway, there you have it, Dutch Schultz. Bop. All right, gang, on with picture number 9. Picture number 9. Picture number 9. And here we go. You ready or not? Picture number 9. We have 2 pictures of this guy. And we'll see if you can guess who he is with the first. And the second one's actually not too far from age from him, but it places him next to a thing that he would be highly recognized for. Here we go. Who's that? Who's that? That's a guy in need of a brush. Who's that?
His first name.
I haven't seen it yet.
I did. Hike with Mike guy.
Hike with Mike. All right, Hike with Mike. You got it. That's right. That's Lucky Lindy, or Charles A. Lindbergh. And, of course, here he is next to his famous plane. Now, Charles A. Lindbergh, if you ever wondered what that A stood for, here you go. It's Augustus. That's right. It's Charles Augustus Lindbergh, born February the 4th, 1902, and died August the 26th, 1974. He was an American aviator, military officer, author, inventor, explorer, environmental activist, and a spokesperson for American First Committee. At age 25 in 1927, he went from obscurity as a U.S. Air Mail pilot to instantaneous world fame by winning the RTHE Prize, making a non-stop flight from Roosevelt Field in Long Island, New York, to Paris, France. Lindbergh covered the 33.5-hour, 3,600 statute mile flight alone in a single-engine, purpose-built Ryan monoplane, the Spirit of St. Louis. Lindbergh's flight was not the first nonstop transatlantic flight. Alcock and Brown achieved this in June of 1919. Lindbergh's flight was, however, the first solo nonstop transatlantic flight. Lindbergh was an officer in the U.S. Army Air Corps Reserve, and he received the United States' highest military decoration, the Medal of Honor, for the feat, and many other awards and other forms of recognition from many countries. Lindbergh's achievement spurred interest in both commercial aviation and airmail, and he devoted much time and effort to promoting such activity. Lindbergh's historic flight and extraordinary celebrity status also led to tragedy. In March of 1932, his infant son, Charles Jr., was kidnapped and murdered in what American media called the crime of the century, and was described by H.L. Mencken as the biggest story since the resurrection. The case prompted the United States Congress to establish kidnapping as a federal crime once the kidnapper had crossed state lines with their victim. By the late of 1935, the hysteria surrounding the case had driven the Lindbergh family into exile in Europe, from which they returned in 1939. Before the United States formally entered World War II, Lindbergh was an advocate of non-interventionism and a supporter of Germany. He was opposed not only of the intervention of the United States, but also the granting of aid to the United Kingdom. He supported the Anti-War America First Committee, a pro-German propaganda group, which opposed American aid to Britain in its war against Germany, and resigned his commission in the United States Army Air Forces in 1941 after President Franklin Roosevelt publicly rebuked him for his views. In 1941, Lindbergh gave an address to the boos of many in the audience who accused Lindbergh of cowardice, stating that foreign agents, including the Jews, capitalists, and communists, and British Anglophiles, were agitating for war. He publicly supported the U.S. war effort after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor and flew 50 missions in the Pacific theater of World War II as a civilian consultant, but did not take up arms against Germany. And Roosevelt refused to reinstate his Air Corps colonel's commission. In his later years, Lindbergh became a prolific prize-winning author, international explorer, inventor, and environmentalist. Yet he is remembered by some as an exponent of demagoguery and an appeasement thought by some as a cowardly approach. His refusal to recant on his controversial views generally mars his historical legacy. And there you have it. Charles A. Lindbergh. Lucky Lindy. And moving on. All right, well, that was number 9. So guess what, gang? That's right, we've got one more to go. And oh boy, we are over. But that's okay. And because we are almost done. All right, well, for the final photograph, who's that? That's right, for the final photograph, we've got a toughie for you. This one's a toughie. This is a toughie. Toughie! And this is the president. Now, I'm giving you hints. You haven't even seen the photograph yet. But here you go. If I click the right one here, let's see. Okay, you ready or not? Here you go. Who's that? Who is that guy?
Maddie says Chester Copperpot.
This is not the Goonies.
Oh my. I would like that again, so it's going to go to Maddie.
All right, well, I tell you what, my chat is way behind, so I have to take your word for it. That's right, gang. That there is Chester A. Arthur, or Chester Allen Arthur, as his mother would call him. Born October the 4th, no, that's not right. Born October the 5th, 1829, died November the 18th, 1886. Was an American attorney and politician who served as the 21st President of the United States from 1881 to 1885. He previously was the 20th Vice President of the United States, and he succeeded to the presidency upon the death of President James A. Garfield. I wonder if James Garfield's middle name was Allen too. I don't know. That's actually a good middle names of the presidents. Yeah, that'd be like a good show right there. Anyway, all right, back to this. Death of President James A. Garfield in September of 1881, 2 months after Garfield was shot by an assassin. Chester A. Arthur was born in Fairfield, Vermont, grew up in upstate New York, and practiced law in New York City. He served as Quartermaster General of the New York Militia during the American Civil War. Following the war, he devoted more time to Republican politics and quickly rose in New York Senator Roscoe Conkling's political machine. Appointed by President Ulysses S. Grant to the lucrative and politically powerful post of Collector of the Port of New York in 1871, Arthur was an important supporter of Conkling and the stalwart faction of the Republican Party. In 1878, the new president, Rutherford B. Hayes, fired Arthur as part of a plan to reform the federal patronage system in New York. When Garfield won the Republican nomination for president in 1880, Arthur, an Eastern stalwart, was nominated for vice president to balance the ticket. 4 months into his term, Garfield was shot by an assassin, and he died 11 weeks later, and Arthur assumed the presidency. Now, at the outset, Arthur struggled to overcome a negative reputation as a stalwart and product of Conkling's machine. To the surprise of reformers, he took up the cause of civil service reform. Arthur advocated and enforced the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act. He presided over the rebirth of the United States Navy, but was criticized for failing to alleviate the federal budget surplus, which had been accumulating since the end of the Civil War. Arthur signed the Chinese Exclusion Act, which resulted in denying citizenship to Chinese Americans until 1898 and barring Chinese immigration until 1943. Building on the 1875 Page Act, which barred Chinese women from entering the country, it was the first total ban on a nation or ethnic group from immigrating to the country. Suffering from poor health, Arthur made only a limited effort to secure the Republican Party's nomination in 1884. He retired at the close of his term. Journalist Alexander McClure later wrote, No man ever entered the presidency so profoundly and widely distrusted as Chester Alan Arthur, and no one ever retired more generally respected alike by political friend and foe. Although his failing health and political temperament combined to make his administration less active than a modern presidency, he earned praise among his contemporaries for his solid performance in office. And we're going to leave it at that because we are well past 8 o'clock. But there you have an interesting thing there, especially about his views about the Chinese and about cheap labor. And but there you have it, Chester A. Arthur. And he hated puppies and kittens. Yeah, he's that kind of guy. But anyway, gang, there you have it. Well, anyway, gang. All right, folks. Well, for anybody who happens to have won, why, you got 1 hour at the end of the broadcast to send me your address, and we will get your nominal prize out to you. Hike with Mike, what was the prize? It's a secret. And it's just anything that's better than getting a bill in your mailbox. And it'll probably be a tidbit, a coin, or something of that nature. But anyway, gang, that is it for game night. That's right. Now, do be sure to be on the lookout. That's right. For a video to be popped out by Reiser in the next several days. And do be sure to tune in to next Tuesday's live stream for a weekend recap. Okay, because oh boy, what a wonderful sight. That I started working before getting the whooping cough. But I tell you, I cannot wait to get back to that site. Hopefully this weekend I'll be getting back. But I do have a video kind of in the can. It has to be edited, and you'll be seeing some of that stuff alluding to what is to come. But anyway, watch out for the video. But anyway, gang, now that illness has subsided, hoping to get back out there. Now, next week's show, guess what? We're going to have a weekend recap, of course, from, 3 weeks ago, when it happens. And then we'll have a treasure story, believe it or not. That's right, a dandy of a treasure story. And then, that's right, we will even have a dandy giveaway that you will not want to miss out on. And until then, watch out for Thursday. That's right, Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. You got Digging Canuck, Liz off the cuff. And then, gang, Friday. That's right, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got Hoosier Hillbillies live stream. That's right, don't miss it. I tell you, that cat always has something up his sleeve. And then, gang, on Sunday at 10 a.m., you can catch Liz again with Coffee with Liz, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All these times are Eastern Standard Time. You haven't gotten that idea yet. And then, gang, Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always catch Ken Peavy's The Big Show, the biggest coin giveaway on the planet, I'd say, at least on YouTube. And then, gang, Monday, that's right, Monday, don't miss it, American Woodland Relics, that's right, what's that, Monday Madness, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, gang, that's right, until next week, I tell you what, have a great night, and get out there and find your treasure. All right, gang, that's it. We'll catch you around all across the tube. We'll see you out there. All right, gang, have a great night. We'll see you around.